Oh, hey. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. We kind of got sidetracked here, but what we're trying to do is fix this water pump for this 2006 BMW 325i. Alright, it's the thermostat and it's the water pump. Get out of here. I'm tired of that hoe. Alright, so, hey look, Mr. Gorilla. Hold on, Mr. Gorilla. Hold on. It's okay, Mr. Gorilla. It's okay. Alright, look, we've got to fix this water pump, okay? And if we don't fix this water pump, this car's not gonna drive. Alright? So, no, Mr. Gorilla. We can't fuck the car, okay? It's a pretty car, but we can't fuck it. The owner might not like that. Let me put my little pigtails in a pigtail and a ponytail and some shit tail. Alright? Now, when we go to fixing this thing, we ain't gonna be wearing none of this shit. Because this is really just our little sexual experience. You know what I'm saying? Look, hold on. Alright?
Alright, so I've outlined the tools that you'll need for this project. You want to get it up on stands. I've got two here, they're stacked on top. You want to be able to get underneath the car to work on everything. First you'll start out with your two sets of ratchets. I have a 1/4 inch ratchet and a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. You want a 6 inch for the larger ratchet and a little 3 inch for the smaller ratchet. I have an E14 socket. Essentially it's a Torx head backwards. You want an elbow joint. You want a 14 millimeter. This 14 millimeter helps you get off the sway bar that's in your way. You have an 8 millimeter. You have an 8 millimeter that gets all of the bolts off the under panel and all those parts there. You'll need a 10 millimeter to get the power steering lines out of your way. There's also a few bolts that attach the thermostat to the water pump. Those also use a 10 millimeter. You'll use a 6 millimeter for all the hose clamps. One in particular, you'll probably want to use a flathead screwdriver to get it off because it's a hard angle. You'll see that in the video to come. You need a flathead screwdriver. Needle nose pliers. Needle nose pliers will help you get off the plugs that go into the thermostat and water pump. To keep your hands clean, you'll want some gloves here. If you're like me, you don't want to work on your car without a service manual. Use safety glasses. I highly recommend it. You'll get coolant in your eyes and it burns. You'll also see that in the video. You'll want coolant. In my video, I end up using 2 gallons diluted coolant. So 1 gallon straight coolant and 1 gallon purified water. Next, you want a funnel to put it in. And lastly, you gotta have beer. So the first step is to remove the underbody panel. Whenever you remove it, you use the same screws as the bolts underneath, which I believe is an 8 millimeter. So you remove these.
Yes, 8 millimeter.
Yeah, you'll remove these 8 millimeter screws on the bottom. And once you get all the screws out, the underbody panel slides back towards the rear of the vehicle. And I have my helper removing the underbody panel.
This the helper right here. How you doing, boy?
Alright, so step 1's complete. First step is to remove the splash shield. Mine's kind of dirty. I've got a whole bunch of other problems I gotta fix. So anyway, there's approximately 13 screws if you want to take a look. 13 screws you have to undo, and then take the splash shield off. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I didn't want to show a video like under the car as we undo them, because essentially it's just a bunch of 8 millimeter head bolts, and we take them off.
Okay, so step 2 would be after you remove the long scrub pad, you have to take this one off, and it's located basically in front of the long scrub pad. How you do that? You remove these, and then you leave. You're left with this. and it's basically how it looks. It clamps on the same way it looks, and it's basically simple as that.
Alright, so step 3 is to drain the cooling system. I'm using a Bentley Publisher's manual in order to do this. So it says first we need to undo the radiator cap expansion tank, which is located up here. Got that. Step 2 is you put a 5-gallon pail down. This one is actually approximately 3.3 3/4 gallons, 15 quarts to be exact. But the reason why you don't exactly need 5 quarts is because, according to the manual here, the cooling system capacity for an automatic transmission here is 2.23 gallons. So we still have enough space in that container to drain all the cooling system fluid. Alright, so after we undo the cooling cap reservoir, we have that under our drain screw. That's when we'll go back to the underbody panel and undo that cap right there. And then the draining, will commence. Alright, so we have the coolant draining right now. This is the actual plug. So if you look at it, this was going up in the radiator like this. Alright, you can see there's no, there's no threads to it. It's an actual plug. So don't sit there and try to turn this screw over and over again, because it's not really a screw, it's a plug. Alright, the next step is to get the sway bar out of our way. I'm going to hand the camera down to our
uncertified associate. Okay, now these are 14 millimeters. The sway bar is here. It goes across. You've got 2 on each side. Uh-oh.
What did you do?
Okay, so our next step is 14 millimeters. We are removing this guy and this guy, and there's 2 more on the other side. You basically just follow it, and that's a 14 millimeter. Okay, so we have our bucket for any excess coolant, and what we're doing here is we have to remove this. Now, if you can tell, we've already took the nut off. You simply place it where the sway bar goes down. Get that guy out your way. Now we have to disconnect this. Now these are your hoses.
Alright, so what we've done here is we've removed this hose here. If we could kind of see up in it, this is the hose that comes around and then connects to the water pump right here. Crap. It's very cramped space in here, but anyway, this is the hose that comes around and undoes here. Alright, so we're going to try to undo this one to try to get it out of our way, and then we're going to move on to getting the other hoses once this stuff is disconnected. Alright, so using a 6mm socket wrench, I took the hose clamps off. I took one hose off, but it's the 1U hose that connects from this point to this point here. And that was it. We removed that one because we're going to remove both of these things anyway, but we need to have more room to get this hose off back here. I can already see like this is going to be a pain in the butt to get this hose off back here on the back of the thermostat. Alright, so what I did was I removed the hose that goes from this thermostat here to the water pump. Remove those. Whew, that coolant's cold. I guess that's a good thing. We removed that hose. The next step is we're going to remove these 2 10mm bolts. I went ahead and removed one. All I need is like a little bit of unclamping, and then they'll unscrew by themselves and they'll come out. So that'll give us a little bit of leverage here, get this thing loose. And once I figure out, where all the connections are to get this thing out, I'll post the next step. Alright, so here's my predicament. We have a hose clamp down here that is being a pain in our butt. So, if I can try and get some light down here to show you what the problem is. That might do. Or not. Alright. So, take you deep down to the bowels of the motor. Alright, so, I have my hand here behind this ground wire, going all the way down. Alright, now, I have, let's see if we can get it to show on here. There's a hose clamp that attaches almost directly to the thermostat, if not attaches directly to it, that I can't get off. The bolt is going the other way. So if I was to stick my ratchet right here, I can't get this thing going the other way. There we go. You can kind of see it in the video now. Let me see. Yeah, I can't get this ratchet, the ratchet to fit on that little bolt right there. So, that is the next step. That's a 6mm bolt like all the other ones. And I have to get that off in order to get the thermostat off. So, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do that, but that's where it's being a pain in my butt right now. Yeah, so this is being a pain in my ass. Look, if you can see where I got the flashlight position and everything, there is literally like no room. Like I'm only getting a few clicks. And I had to get this thing on this bolt. It was actually harder to get it on the bolt to actually get it started, but
I'll show you from the under view. Not really. You can't see shit. See?
Oh, fuck, shit, cock, fucking cunt balls.
See, our whole big dilemma is it's up under this.
That's like 25 or so clicks. I'm gonna fucking try to pry that shit off, dude. Tried a new approach to this to see if it might work. You see, this arm is coming up through the bottom, and then just using the screwdriver itself to unscrew it, because it does have a flathead bit on it. So we turned it a few notches. It's still on there pretty tight because it is a hose.
Get down there and hold it.
Then I'm gonna go down there and hold the thermostat while he tries to pry it off. All right. So what we ended up doing, we reached down from here. Let's see if I can find a video. We reached down there, and then when you go up above this lip here, and you can get the screwdriver in there. We end up reattaching, like we screwed like one of those 10mm bolts back on the thermostat to the water pump, just for giving it some, some strength to mount. Yeah, so it mounted to that, so we ended up just undoing the clamp enough, and it just, we wiggled it around, kind of pulled it off the little lip it has there, and it came off. So. Alright, so this hose that come off a thermostat, alright, you pull this pin, alright, you pull this pin straight out if you can find a little grip, like take a screwdriver and clip this off. It'll try to turn around the whole hose. You'll know what I'm talking about whenever you do it. This little groove right here, where I'm pointing out, this is meant for a flathead screwdriver to come in and pull it straight out from the hose, alright? So whenever you pull it out, alright, you pull this out, the hose is supposed to come straight out. So if you can demonstrate that again, please. See where he's trying to reattach it there. So, alright, so you go ahead and pull it straight out again. Alright, see, it comes straight off, and that's all there is to it. Alright, so there's two of those hoses. There's one that's a large one that he's got his hand on now that we just took off. And then now we're going to take this one off that I'm wiggling right now. So, on to the next step, I guess. Alright, so here is my replacement thermostat. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have these two bolts off already. The only thing holding it on is that guy, this bolt right here. And then once this is out of the way, I can pull the thermostat out because this is basically just in the way.
Half inch too much.
Yeah, just a ½ inch too much in the way. So we have to get this out in order to pull the thermostat out. And then we'll start assembling it all back together.
Okay, warning for one, antifreeze burns getting it in your eye. Just saying. Just to clarify.
Alright, so demonstrating on the new water pump. With it hanging there, it's still going to be kind of a hard angle. It's really going to be hard to see the E14 bolt that goes there. And E14 is essentially like a torque head reversed, but the same E14 applies to all three spaces here. This one is going to be really hard to see, but if you can get an angle on it, I suggest using an elbow to put it on the socket or to put it on the screw. And you can then angle it with a 6-inch extension on your ratchet, and eventually you can work it out of there. And since our thermostat was stuck in the engine bay because this was in the way, once this came out, thermostat came right on out. So
oh yeah, warning number 2. Do not put the flashlight that you have to use to find it in your mouth to hold it, because antifreeze is not fun to taste. Just saying. In my eye and in my mouth. I feel like a cheap fucking hooker. I'm just saying.
Alright, so now that I got the old parts out, it's time to put the new parts in. I'm going to start with the thermostat because it goes in the far corner, and then whenever I install this, I can easily move this out of the way because hoses are malleable, and I can move this out of the way and not have to worry about it. And then once those hoses are set, I can put the water pump in, and this one will be, I'll probably have to start out with attaching this bolt with the same, joint head, and then go from there. So as I get things attached, if I run into any problems, I'll make another video or another section of the video to demonstrate, but I'm assuming everything is going to be this exact reverse of the removal. Alright, so we got everything reattached, made sure all the hoses were good to go. The next step is to fill the reservoir up with fluid. The manual says that the radiator, this car, it's an automatic, so it takes approximately 2.23 gallons. So what I did, I went and bought 150,000 mile coolant, and you dilute it 50%, distilled water and coolant. So what we did, we took a bucket. You talking shit back there?
Nah. I said 50-50, nigga.
Alright, 50-50. So how we did that to measure it, we took a 5-gallon bucket and we took one of the gallon jugs of coolant. We dumped the gallon of coolant straight into the 5-gallon bucket because the water has to be diluted before it puts in the reservoir.
Yep.
So we dumped that in there. We went and filled the jug up with distilled water. In my case, I'm using reverse osmosis water, so it's pure water.
Same thing, nigga.
Same thing. The difference between distilled water is made through collecting condensation. Essentially like water vapor, whatever. RO water, it goes through membranes. Either way, it's pure water. Anyway, 50-50. I dumped those in there in order to get the 0.23. There's a measuring sight glass on the side of the coolant jug, so we filled up a certain amount with coolant and another half of that, or another same amount of that as RO water. So the next step after that is to have your car bleed the air out. And how that works is it's an electronic procedure. The manual tells you as well. What you do is you put the key into the ignition, you press the start button, do not hold the brake, you don't want to turn the car on. Like I said, you press the start button, it'll initiate, its electronic features. What you'll do, you'll turn the heater up to max setting. In my case, it's 84 degrees. You'll turn both of them on to 84 degrees, and you'll turn the fan onto the lowest setting without it being off. After that, you hold the pedal for 10 seconds, and after 10 seconds, your water pump will start making a wishy-washy sound, just like you have a washing machine, and you hold your foot on the pedal. You do not let go, and you have to hold it there for 12 minutes. 12 minutes seems like an odd number, but it's precisely 12 minutes that you do it. So in this case, you would either sit back, drink a beer. If you're not a drinker, grab a fucking Black and Mild.
Whatever.
If you're a weed smoker, fucking
smoke you some weed.
Smoke you some weed.
Do
Chill
cocaine.
out.
Do some cocaine. No one prefers this shit now, but each his own. Just don't do no heroin or no shit like that and pass out while you doing this shit. You've been and fucked everything up. I'm just saying, some people have that fucked up mentality.
Alright, so after this procedure's done, you will free up some space in the reservoir. That's normal. When we actually put the coolant into the reservoir, we didn't even go through an entire 2 gallons before the reservoir overflowed. So, and that's normal as well. It's supposed to overflow. So, at that point, we started this procedure, so it's bleeding the air out, and then once it's all done, it'll free up some space, and then we'll add the rest of our coolant until, once again, it overflows, and then we're good. We topped it off.
Everything's done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll probably do more. We have a lot of shit we've got to do to this car. So, try to catch back with us, and you have any questions, let us know.
Alright, so that concludes our video.